Right, how's everybody doing? I'm just going to be sharing this out, so make sure to like and share if you can. And how you doing, Scouse Anarchist? How you doing, Maggie M? How you doing, Stan Engin? We're all doing well. So anyway, so we've got Himalaya 77. How you doing, Authentic Intent? Okay, I'm gonna have to start this again, aren't I? Because the friggin' voice thing happens every so often. Hang on, sound clearer now? Cool. Alright, oh, sorry about that, guys. Let's just plug in. Alright, so if anyone wants to join me, let me know, and if you want to come and talk about anything in particular, just let me know. So I'll be sharing this out on my Twitter a minute. I'll be with you guys in a minute. I'm just sharing this out, so just bear with me a second. Right, so in hearing quite a bit about this, these new quote-unquote natural disasters that have been going on, about them being, kind of hard technology that are creating them, man-made as opposed to, natural disasters. I don't know if I'd, obviously be 100% on that, but it does seem somewhat like kind of weird with how Ranty Rant actually kind of made a video showing how that there was some kind of lightning going on, and it was weird how it was all these different colors, which was just not normal. And then straight after there was like the earthquake that happened, and I was like, and this was the Mexico earthquake. So I'm just a bit kind of suspicious about that. It's definitely not something you can ignore, really. But however many people have supposedly died in it. I'm not going to say nobody died because that would be disrespectful to those who did die, but I don't know about the numbers, whether they're legit or whatever. I don't know. I didn't count them, but I just hope everyone that's kind of living in those conditions right now, kind of gets back, kind of to where they left off pretty soon, because it does seem like there are some pretty bad times over there. Just glad I'm not in a place where any of these things ever seem to happen. No kind of extreme weather or like that. It seems to happen where I live. But they have the tech to create everything from earthquakes to tornadoes. They don't only use HARPs. They have dozens of ways to manipulate the weather. Yeah, I've heard about that. HARPs and all these NEXRAD, all these kind of acronyms and things that these that a lot of people believe that they're kind of they're using these technologies to manipulate weather, and that I wouldn't put it past them to do such a thing, because they can lie about the shape of the earth and they can do all this stuff with NASA fakery and stuff like that. Then I definitely won't put it past them to do stuff like this, really. It's just stuff you got to be open to, really, and do your own research if you want to learn more about it. Flats of Fact, how you doing? LD, how you doing? Midnight Gardener, how you doing? The Mad Flatter, how you doing? Right, I've just scrolled up there. I'll probably put a link out to my main channel in case anybody hasn't subscribed to that already. I'm only over here temporary till, I do still put videos on my main channel, but it's just like I'm just using this channel for live streaming at the moment, because I have a copyright strike on my main channel. You get these people that put a strike, and they try and attack your channel for no reason. So yeah, I'll put a link to my main channel in case you haven't subscribed to that one. Robert Humphrey, how you doing? Good to see you. Don't know if you'll want to join me out. Let me know if you want to come and join. If there's anything you want to come and talk about. So it was good chatting with you before. We had some interesting conversations and things. So I think it was something that Ireland Von Vicious showed before. I know he's like a concave believer. He believes in a different model of the concave than what the the LSC model. He believes it's like an inverse universe, but he was showing like a flat Earth model where you got the Pac-Man model, but it's what happens is you go from one side of it to the other, and you end up coming back to the start. But it's actually it's like a parallel reality. So you've got if you was to travel from west to east, say you travel from the UK, to like Japan or something, and then keep traveling east, and then you come back to the UK again. And I was thinking, what if you literally kind of go into like another parallel reality? And I think it might have been something that he was going on about. I know it sounds crazy, but nothing's crazy when you come into flat Earth, because I mean, the frigging globe's a lie. It's all a lie. But if it is this, the same Pac-Man, but I don't see it as Pac-Man. That's probably like a way of ridiculing it, to be honest. But maybe like in this, parallel reality, you've got like a sort of literally everybody and everything has identical copies. Yeah. So you go from one side, from where you are, you travel across like 25,000 miles or whatever, and you come back, but it's actually, you don't come back to the beginning. It just loops. It just kind of starts over, but in another reality kind of thing. It's like not a reality, but just like basically everybody's doing the same things. It's weird. I mean, I don't know if it's possible, but it was just an idea. But that's the way I'd kind of conceptualize it if it were Pac-Man, or whether it were that kind of looping thing where, like, if you was to say go in a plane and you would just travel west or east and you would just come back to where you started and you just went in a straight line, then what that might be is that you've actually, like, say that you come back and you see your family and friends again, but they're not actually the same people that you've known throughout your life. I mean, they look like them. I mean, they're basically the same people, but they're not, it's not the same minds, if you will. I don't know. It sounds really kind of crazy, but I might have lost some people there. But yeah, Ali B, how are you doing? Goldfish Brain, how are you doing? Radio Liverpool, how are you doing? But yeah, I'm just thinking, well, if the AE map is wrong and the globe is wrong, then it has to be kind of something else. Because if somebody can prove that the sun goes in a straight line at the equator, then it means the sun isn't circling over an azimuthal map. That means it's actually either a globe or it's flat, with a straight, basically the sun's going in a straight line. That's what it would mean. If that was the case on a flat plane, it would mean that it was, if it's curved at the equator, if it's, if you're on the equinox at the equator, you should be able to see the sun's in a straight line on a bottle. And if it is in a straight line, then it just means the AE map is wrong, or the circling sun concept is wrong. But if anyone's actually tried to see if it actually kind of does go in a straight line or goes curved, I'd like to know. Anyway, that's kind of weird, like this whole kind of model thing, but it's just like you've got the Sun and Moon group, and they work on their own model and stuff, and they try and gather data and stuff and do research and things, but their model's pretty complicated. A lot of people aren't going to understand that, the whole kind of the flower of life, whatever. It's like, I'm like, this just looks like a mess to me. It just looks like it's just been way too overcomplicated. That's just my humble opinion of it. It just if it is so complicated, then we should just kind of accept that that this reality is probably kind of more complex than we could ever comprehend, because it's probably more complex than all of us combined, because we are just we are just part of this, it's a tiny part of this mechanism, but we're still significant, though, a lot more significant than they want us to believe that we are, I believe. But I don't think we're ever gonna kind of get the ultimate truth. I don't think such a thing exists. So what are you looking up then, Maggie? But I mean, yeah, this whole kind of map thing, it's just, I don't think we should really kind of focus on that, to be honest, because that's what the bowlers are like. Oh, you don't have a model, or whatever. And it's like, but their model, kind of assumes that, that the Earth's, spinning and it's orbiting, and it's like, with no proof of it, no practical example, no way of demonstrating the insane speeds, when our senses tell us that we're still, they have you you rely on sky observation. Oh, look, you can see the stars are moving. Well, doesn't that tell you that it's the stars that are moving? I mean, duh, like the stars are moving, we're not, we're still, and the stars are what are moving. They always believe that they're all these light years away. Well, an absolute joke. Absolutely be kidding me if you believe that, when you actually think about it, come on, guys, the nearest star, apart from the sun, of course, they say it, it's 4.2 light years away. It's about 25 trillion miles away, to the nearest freaking star. Never mind whether, Polaris is supposed to be at like 400 or whatever. I'd have to look up the exact distance to it, but some of these stars are trillions, quadrillions, some of them are up to about quintillions, if not sextillions of miles away according to their model. And a lot of these they say you can see with your naked eye. Give me a break, seriously. Absolute rubbish. And just think about it, it's just insanity, isn't it? There was a dot up in the sky and we think, oh, that's such a huge burning star, that's like 50 trillion degrees or whatever, and it's all these light years away, because that's what they tell you it is. I mean, yeah, they can probably make the maths to work out, but it's just such a preposterous distance and size that they put these things at. I mean, they have you believe that the moon's 238,000 miles away and the sun's 93 million miles away, and then they say that the sun's 400 times brighter and bigger than the moon, whatever it's. So that's why when the moon passes in front of the sun, that it just happens to look the same size. What how could you have such a crazy coincidence like that? That should tell you the right away that the whole kind of model's bull. It's just nonsense. Like, they are both the same size. That's what we see in the sky, that two discs in the sky, well, they might not be discs, but that's what they seem, two discs, and one of them comes in front of the other. They're like, oh, well, how did they explain the eclipse as well? I just don't get these people. It just seems to kind of work just fine on a flat earth. I mean, yeah, we don't have an exact model because again, maybe it works, so the reality works a lot more kind of complicated, the actual kind of mechanics of this reality and everything. It's just a lot more when we're looking up at the stars and what they might not be physical objects. We just don't know. The moon doesn't exist as a separate thing. It's a reflection of the face of the sun. Have you got any proof of that? 237,000, Jamie, as in room 237. 2 times 3 times 7 equals, guess what? Yeah. Well, Toby Mush, how you doing? These people that believe in aliens and all this crap, they think that, it's totally normal, but anyone that believes the Earth to be flat and stationary, they're laughed at, ridiculed, even though it's our everyday experience. Well, we've got high points and low points, but apart from that, it's pretty flat as far as we can tell. The thing is, you get these concavers, and it's got the reverse problems. It's you'd still have to have gravity, you'd still have to have and just that, the fact that if it were on a concave Earth, what you'd have is say you had a rail gun, it would just shoot straight into the ground, basically. Well, not straight into it, but it would just quickly head into the ground, because it wouldn't stay level with the Earth. Whereas on a ball, it would just go off into space or something, And there's it's gravity. Well, there's still yet to show us any kind of practical example of it, I saw this post to someone on Twitter and so on, some concave believer put something that it can't be convex because you can see things further than you should, and it can't be flat because the light bends and distortion. That's why we don't see the concavity. To me, that's just an excuse. I think they were going on about the stars and all that, but yeah, so we'd have to believe that people in Australia are upside down still, but they'd be up there somewhere, and it'd be I don't know, just seems even crazier to me. But honestly, I can't take LSE seriously, to be honest. I mean, he claims to be Christ or something, and also he actually kind of exposed himself, basically. I don't know if it was a kind of joke or something, but he was saying something that he was in prison for 33 months, and he actually said 33 months. I mean, Russian vids did a video on him, and I don't, necessarily think, well, that all the, 33 and all that, it's all, but yeah, it's a bit coincidental, if you ask me. Anyway, so yeah, if anyone wants to come on, then let me know. But anyway, Casper, Friendly Ghost, how you doing? But yeah, I mean, this concave thing to me is just like a reverse of the ball. I mean, it's still, we're inside of a ball. That's what it is. It's like, so what you believe's on the outside of it, then, like, if we're on like the inside of a ball, then if you was to dig down, where would you end up? Would you go into space or something? Or would you, I mean, Island Von Vicious's model's different. I think his model's like even weirder, but he says that, well, he doesn't say that we are, but he thinks that we're living inside a TARDIS within a TARDIS. I mean, the whole kind of idea of a TARDIS is hard to wrap your head around. But he says it's sort of how infinity is squeezed into one single point. I don't know. So there's just emptiness. All right. So the Bolivia salt flats are actually curved in your model, then. So, but they're kind of concave, even though they look flat, because apparently light bends. Even though I can't prove that. I mean, well, maybe you can, but I mean, if we're going off of observations and what we can test, it's flat as far as we can see. So even if it works like a concave Earth or a ball Earth, it's still flat. So if there's no way of testing for the kind of curvature in any way, then that section is flat, regardless of your ideology. God's trick fooled us all, mate. What? All creation happens inside, not outside. Why would God trick us like that? To me, the idea of creating something where, why would God create something where people are standing upside down relative to each other? That's just crazy. You would create it where everyone's all, standing on a level plane, It just kind of, makes more sense to me, but you're free to believe what you want. Oh, but you are not the Lord like Stephen is, Jimmy. His ways are not ours. Well, exactly. I mean, I suppose if he was God, then he could choose what he wants to do. But anyway. Someone wants to join me. I keep it going for a bit longer until if someone wants to come and join me. So I've already talked about the hurricanes and stuff that's been going on. I didn't really talk about the hurricanes, but talking about obviously the hot technology and stuff and how they might be triggering earthquakes and stuff. I mean, is this the end times? I don't know. People are suggesting that. I was watching this video earlier, and it was this kind of Christian guy, and he started towards the end going on about his the whole end time prophecy thing and how Jesus is going to save us all, and if we accept Jesus into our hearts, then we shall be saved. I'm like, what load of rubbish, and I clicked the like button. I was like, the information was pretty good, but I mean, it's just he started to go on about his thing. My problem with it's like he was saying that if you don't accept Jesus, then you're just going to be like, basically, it's going to be doom and gloom for you, basically. So let me get this straight. So God or Jesus, whatever, is supposed to be all powerful, but they can't just save everyone. So I mean, if people don't even know like that there is a God, or they've been tricked into not believing in it, then they can't be saved because of that. What a lot of bullshit. Anyone that believes in that crap is just, I think they're mentally ill, but that's just my humble opinion. I just think, obviously both sides are kind of controlled, yeah, I mean, the whole atheistic, and then you've got the Bible literalists. I mean, I'm not saying that, the Bible's wrong and all that. I haven't even, I've hardly read anything from it, but just kind of the thought that, that you have to, kind of accept Jesus, otherwise you're going to end up basically rotting on this earth or something, just doesn't sit right with me. But let's see what people are saying in chat. All right, cool. Pete, I'll probably check it out tomorrow. I have obviously heard these guys before, Rob Skeever and all that. I mean, the religious stuff isn't really something that kind of really for me. I'm kind of more like, let's find out what we can actually prove and just kind of wake everyone up and then kind of take it from there, and we'll learn everything else. I think the most important thing is just to kind of live life, live life the way it was intended. If there is a creator, which it seems like a lot of flat earthers believe that there is. I mean, most of them do. It's just to kind of just treat each other with respect. Just kind of make the most of everything. Don't kind of do any evil. And these things are natural. When people are little, they naturally are good people. They naturally kind of have these instincts within them to be sharing, to be kind to each other. It's actually conditioned into them to be these other things. So it made me think, why is there this book that's been created to rules and stuff? Maybe it was just there in case shit like this happens, where people are being indoctrinated and conditioned to kind of believe certain things, and they're having their kind of heads screwed up. And when I said that the people who believe in kind of that if you don't accept Jesus, then you just kind of rot with these parasites, then you're mentally ill. What I'm saying is that you need to kind of have some kind of deep contemplation and kind of really kind of think about it and just think, would God really let that happen? Because would our quote unquote savior let that happen? But Jesus is Lord, not God. Well, it seems like people some say Jesus is the Son of God, and it was kind of magically came into Mary. She was a virgin. So I mean, I just don't believe in this stuff. I don't buy it. The whole story is just kind of like a fairy tale to me, or what? Well, not. I mean, it'd be a screwed up one. But it's not really something I really want to talk about too much, because I know it's going to be controversial, because it's a touchy subject. But why should it be? I mean, if people are so secure about their beliefs, then they should have no problem when someone challenges them. And I mean, God's game. I don't know. There seems to be this kind of there's these people. Some of these people think that God's actually a female because it's the females that are the creators, and that males because you could say, well, males kind of they're needed because you need a male to impregnate the woman. But I guess you only need you only need one man to so many women, because just one a lot of sperm could actually kind of impregnate quite a few women, couldn't it? I don't know, but this is a weird topic. Religion is just another divisive tool. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think religion, most definitely. Christianity, Islam, and all that. It's one of the biggest psyops going, isn't it? There's some people that think that the sun is Jesus. I'm Rick. How you doing? So Chris F.E. Jackson. How you doing? Yeah, pagans. I mean, there's some flat earthers that believe in that as well, that Jesus is the sun. But it kind of makes sense in a way when you think about it, because you're more likely to worship something that you can actually see, that's actually giving you life, versus something that you cannot see, you have no direct experience of. So that might sound like kind of like indoctrination or whatever, but I don't worship anything. But I'm saying, if you are going to worship something, then you'd rather worship something that is kind of life-giving without the sun. Well, but some are saying it's actually not the sun that's doing it. Some are saying it's the moon, but the sun's just transforming the energy and the heat and all that. Someone put a video out, filmed Blackpool from over 36 miles away. This was in North Wales somewhere, but it was at a quite high elevation though. I think it was about nearly 500 feet, so it were quite high up, but I'm just not sure if you could see that right to the bottom. I think you could, but it is possible to see it down at the shore at Tulaka, apparently, which is right on the coast of North Wales, and that's apparently still about 33 miles in distance. 33 miles. I think it was 33.6 miles or something. And you could see it. You could see quite a bit of it. You couldn't just see the very top of it, which even with the Metabunk calculator, you should have only seen the top of it. But you could see a lot more. So either it's flat or we're living on a much bigger ball. Millennium, how you doing? Man, I've already said hi to you, I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, Globus said the curvature curvature math is wrongly calculated, well, then they need to show us a correct math, because when somebody, kind of puts it in AutoCAD and shows how it's 8 inches per mile squared, they can't really deny that because they're using their numbers of 24,901 miles in circumference. So then you can, kind of use that as like an estimate for like what the curvature should be. And obviously, if you get up higher, you would, kind of the amount of drop below the horizon would kind of diminish as you get up higher, because your distance to the horizon would increase, because you're looking at more of the bowl as you get up higher, because you're able to see over more of that curve because you increase your perspective. But on a flat plane, we also have a limited perspective, just due to the angular size of things in the distance will get so small that they can no longer be seen, and it kind of just blends into the horizon. Things that blocks into the distance, and they usually kind of, as they go past the horizon, they usually quickly just go out of view, just because of like I said, the angular size of them just gets so small you can't detect them with your naked eye, but you can zoom them back in up to a certain distance, and then they might end up going behind the swell or something, or behind the atmospheric haze, the atmospheric conditions at sea. Apparently, even at like 100 feet, if you go up to 100 feet, there's no longer a definite horizon line. It just becomes like a blurred horizon line, which I didn't know that until recently. I thought you had to go up a few thousand feet for that to start happening. I thought it was something like 5,000 feet or something like that, but apparently it's like 100 feet. So the horizon line starts to become. It's probably because at sea level, the horizon line probably comes before the atmosphere gets in the way, I suppose. And I won't be like dogmatic and not accept any of this bowl Earth evidence, because there are some pretty good videos, and it's like, yeah, cool. I mean, I can understand why that would sway them that way. But there's evidence that contradicts that, or quite a lot that contradicts that. So it just turns into like an argument: bowl Earth versus flat Earth. If the Earth was flat, you would not be able to see that distance. It's only because of concavity. I don't agree with that. Some would say you can only see so far because we're on the bowl. So some say that you'd be able to see a lot further if it were flat. But isn't it just your perspective? Things seem to ramp up, like the floor seems to ramp up, and then it kind of meets at eye level or close to it, because of like the way perspective works. I mean, wouldn't it rise above eye level on a concave Earth? Unless you it's the light bending. So I've heard this argument that gravity bends light, but can I show an example of this? So again, the Bolivia salt flats aren't actually flat, but they're concave, but because of light bends, they just look flat. No, it doesn't prove concavity. Like I said, it proves the opposite. I mean, it doesn't prove the opposite. I mean, it appears to rise to eye level, but some people have actually shown it to rise to slightly below eye level, and that's due to the atmosphere getting in the way. So if it were concave, then the horizon, or basically the ground would very quickly get to eye level, because say you're at 8 inches above sea level. Let's just say you're, let's say you're at, I don't know, it's just, I mean, why is it that things past the horizon don't continue to rise up? Why don't ships appear to just start to go upward past the horizon? I mean, if the horizon is due to distortion, but I'm just not going to argue with this person because I could be here all night. Anyway, it's going to be 9/11, 11th of September. It's going to be on Monday. So maybe they're telling you the truth in plain sight. The sky's the limit. Right, so let's put it in on a curve calculator, right? So let's just say you're standing at, not standing, but let's say you're at 35,000 feet, where a lot of the commercial planes go up to. So you've got like a distance to the horizon of 229 miles. So that's pretty far. So if it's a bowl, it should be more than 3 degrees of drop. So this idea that you can't see curve from Earth because we're not high up enough from it. Well, what about when planes get up high and people still show it to be flat? You think Quasi is losing it a bit? I've not looked at his videos for a while. Honestly, it was a bit kind of aggressive the way he kind of put his message across, really. But yeah, like I say, if it is at eye level because it's concave, then why don't ships that go past it continue to rise up? Because if light is bending to make it kind of seem flat, then you can't. What I'm saying is you can't have it both ways. Because when you get these people saying that, oh, it's because of light bending, so that therefore it kind of seems flat, but then they say, oh, the horizon's at eye level proves that it's concave. Because if that was proof, then there would be proof beyond the horizon even more so, because you'd have you'd basically be able to see things a lot further away if it was concave. What I'm saying, and you can say about the atmospheric distortion, but say like that you have like a mountain in front of another mountain, and on a flat Earth or a globe Earth, it would just be too high up, like for you to be able to see that other mountain behind it. But on a concave Earth, it would actually be possible to see it, even though it's lower down than the mountain in the foreground. You'd be able to see it behind that because it's kind of curved up slightly, and you're looking up the curve a little bit. But that guy seems to have gone now. Don't know what happened, but he's back. So what I said before is that bullers use the horizon not being at eye level as proof of the bull. They try and use the argument against us that the horizon is at eye level. Anyway, so no one else, no one's asking to come on, right? Anyway, I'll just let people know about the upcoming meet that I'm planning on doing at Heaton Hall in Heaton Park, Manchester. Well, it's going to be outside of Heaton Hall in Heaton Park, Manchester, and you can look that up and find out where we're going to be meeting. If you want to do it, then let me know. Well, what can I say, really? Look at Quasi-Luminous's latest video on Pat Steer's eyes, they effing change, whatever. So he's calling her a reptilian now or something. Let's have a look. Where is it? But if anyone wants to come on and talk about convex, flat, concave, whatever, they can come on and talk about it. I've never actually had any. Well, I've actually had see Island Bombishers on before, but I've not had any of the the LSC crew on here before. Well, anyway, I don't know whether to just kind of wrap it up soon or what. Maybe it's definitely being pushed, but there are people really with oval retinas. But I suppose if the eyes are changing, from normal to reptilian, then it's a little bit suspicious. But it's not really something I kind of focus on. I don't know about the reptilians, but could be. But who knows? So have any of you in chat looked into the concave Earth theory? Because because you shouldn't just look into one, I suppose. If it was concave, why does the sun appear to get lower? Wouldn't it appear to just it shouldn't get lower, should it? Well, not the way it does anyway. But anyway, Jurassic F, how you doing? Listen, Absorb, don't believe in one thing. That will exclude all other options. So you've looked into LSC's model then, Pete Shea. So I was wondering what makes you say if you're saying it's brilliant, then what's wrong with his model? Because I haven't actually looked into it, but just from my own experience, it just kind of tells me that it isn't convex or concave. For all we know, all the realities might be true. Because there's this video where this guy was saying that the globe and the flat Earth could be combined. Well, if the concave could be combined into the mix, but that sounds like an even crazier kind of notion. Maybe it's just whatever you believe it is. Who knows? Because no one can ever see the whole thing at once. I mean, if we could, then we could tell what shape it is, but you can make it whatever shape you want it to be, because, and some people are right, what difference does it really make what shape it is? I think it's more about kind of learning that the model that's been presented isn't true, and it doesn't matter whether you agree if it's, flat or, kind of, even those, stationary ball earthers, they know that the model that's been presented is a lie, and then the question becomes, why would they lie? And that's because they want us to think that we're a speck of nothing. Kader Idris, how are you doing? It's an inversion of a perversion, but you should look into everything yourself. Well, I suppose you don't want to just tell me what reasons why it's false. You're saying I should look into it myself. Anyway. So yeah, like I said, I don't think I'll be on here much longer, to be honest. I just wanted to come on and have a bit of a chat, really. I might have a longer one during the week sometime, like I did on, was it Monday, on the other one, when Authentic Intent came on and Pete came on and Chris came on and started discussing about, like religion and stuff and the Bible and everything. Pete's not after coming on, is he? Because it's always quite fun when he comes on, because, some of the stuff he talks about comes up with some interesting things. Even if I don't agree with everything, it's still good to listen. But you wanted to I didn't catch it, Pete. I thought I'll send it anyway. I just didn't, because you haven't been coming on as much lately, so I just was kind of wondering if you, because I know you just wanted to come on the other day just to kind of, but I mean I'd keep it going for a bit longer and just all right, so Kader, I think, saying he wants to join me. If you can provide me your email address, then I'll send it there. If not, I won't be able to send it. All right, cool. Right, so I sent a link out to the two people. And they said he just wanted to come on and say hi, but it looks like he's been banned from the chat. I don't know what he said. Yeah, anyway, what you wanted me to talk about? Anyone in chat? Is there anything you'd like me to talk about? Because it says an open discussion. All right, well, that's probably a good idea to kind of delete the email so it doesn't hang around. All right.
I can't see you on the well, you don't come up. Oh, there you are. See, I thought it was on my own then, because your logo wasn't coming up. What's up, Jamie?
I'm not bad, thanks.
But it's nice to finally speak to you.
So where are you from then?
I'm from South Wales. What, are you from the Midlands?
No, I'm from up north.
Oh, what big cities are you surrounded by?
Well, I'm from Blackburn.
Blackburn. I've never been. I've only been as far England as Gloucester and Bristol, down in the south. Never been up north. How old are you, Jamie? I've never really. I've watched.
22.
22. I'm nearly 26.
So how long have you been kind of?
A long time, and you'd ask me this, but I was around about for at least a year before you even started live streaming. How long was you around before you started live streaming?
Well, I started the channel back in September, but I was looking into it for at least a month before then, really. So.
Only a month, not a long time. So you wasn't involved with.
So I mean, I was into it since kind of.
How many months do you think?
I mean, I've been into it over a year, so.
So was you watching live streams back a year ago?
I was watching live streams probably since probably, I don't know, September, October last year, something like that.
So only a handful of months less time than what I spent looking at it as well.
But there were probably some live streams going on before that.
Well, they have been for 4 years or so, I'm told, before. I think I've been around here now about 2 years, but they told me that it all kicked off about 4 years ago on YouTube, on live chats and stuff with certain people. Before all the main people now, I think.
Yeah, because apparently they had these atheist kind of discussion groups and stuff, a long time ago from, back in 2006 or whatever, and then they kind of migrated to YouTube and kind of started discussing on there.
That's probably why it started with Kent. Is his name Kent Holbein or something?
I've heard of him. I've not actually looked into it.
I was watching, you want to watch his 20-minute videos where he's on stage describing, telling us how evolution is false and creationism is correct, because I'm what's it called, a critic. I just don't sincerely believe in evolution. So when I was looking into flat earth a long time ago, creationism seems to come up in the sense that if we're on a flat world within a construct, then if we're not floating through space by accident, then there has to be some kind of creator.
So it kind of automatically kind of negates the idea of
a creator.
Evolution
is false.
Yeah, it's like that. Like I said, it negates that, and it proves that we're not some kind of random accident.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have thought this. I mean, Eric DeBake coined in one of his videos, and someone else did. When I remember watching a 2-hour-long video, when I first just come across it, and there's that weather balloon of that one camera cam, and it's swerving from left to right, aiming at the sun and the earth, and it just looks so flat. and he's talking about how the reason why they would say that they would lie, and it's about the fact that if you believe the consensus now of the Big Bang Theory and scientism, that you are an accident and you are literally spinning and floating through space, and the only hope you got left is how long the sun will last, which is what, however
because
far away.
if something happens that makes the sun, kind of, like burn quicker or whatever,
and then there's always
so long left and all that.
The only thing I haven't really observed on YouTube is any real truth about what meteorites are, why this thing's shooting through the sky, lighting up and burning up. Like, what would that be if it wasn't government made? The possibility was it was a government tactic to make us believe in space, that they set up things and shot them down in the sky and blew them up, and they was like, yeah, this is a meteorite. Well, if that's not true, what's the other possibilities of what these rocks are falling from the sky if we're in an enclosed system on a flat Earth? That's what I still wonder.
How do we know the rocks? Kader, is it Kader?
No, we don't. Kader.
Kader. Yeah, I think of Kildare.
So a rock. Well, when I say a rock, I mean a rock of any material.
Yeah.
Metal. Something that can burn up fast.
So how about
they tell us that it's traveling through the stratosphere and it heats because it's traveling so fast it heats up, which looks true when you look in the sky. Yeah. So it is coming from above and it does burn up at a high speed and a high temperature. Mm-hmm. But what the fuck is it if we're not living on a spinning globe flying through space?
How do you fancy my explanation then? Right.
I'll listen.
We live under a electromagnetic barrier. It's a broken barrier as well, right? And the sun, as we know, spirals inwards and outwards. That's where we get our seasons. Now, I think most flat earthers will say that there has to be some sort of ice barrier. I say there is as well. And where the barrier meets the water, meets the land, you have a dripping, right? And you have a frozen over sort of condition set up, and this is what we see around the periphery on Earth. But also, it's the same conditions above in a certain sense as well. So as the sun goes away and is not producing the same amount of energy at certain areas, it tends to freeze over, right? But as the sun makes its way back, then it melts and loosens. This is why they come in regular sort of meteor showers, because it's all got to do with the sun and its return to a certain position, melting the ice and then it falling in huge chunks from that height. That's my thoughts on the matter. Anyway, what do you think about that?
I think it's a plausible thing, but it reminded me of a story I've been watching and I've heard of before. Is that female, the most famous female aircraft flyer in America, was her name Amelia
Earhart.
Yeah, and she died she went missing trying to navigate across a massive distance, didn't she? A long time ago.
So the story goes.
A lot of people, anyone who's spent a long time looking into all the Antarctic research and shit like that. This woman had one passenger. She was an absolute gold medalist. She broke several records. She did the longest flight in one go. She was a boss woman, and she went for this big task to go from somewhere to somewhere. It was written down in facts, and the airplane disconnected and she disappeared.
Yeah.
And there's several theories of what happened to her, but at the end of the day, she was actually trying to travel further than what the average person would travel, and she disappeared, and her plane disappeared. So this is another circumstance that leads people to enveloped within this conspiracy. So people who are against this flat Earth conspiracy can't really argue against all the stories and all the things that have happened when it involves exploring the edge of what we know, or certain things like people mysteriously dying and shit like that.
Pretty vague, man. I mean,
at the end of the day, we're all in the twilight zone. At the end.
What's that got to do with meteors?
No, that's a different subject because I don't know any more about meteors than that. I don't know if you would be right or wrong about that. I was just bringing up my topic.
We have to think about these things in a sort of a real sense as well, and that's.
I'm sure there's way more equipped people with telescopes and stuff that could tell us, give me a description of what a meteorite might be or something flashing through the sky. But because I just don't think I've never fully felt like I've understood the stars or the.
Yeah, I know. I know what the stars are, and I think I can prove it as well. I know I can prove it actually at this stage. and I'll be doing so tomorrow. But I think we have to sort of realize everything is so much closer than what we think. You know what I mean? We have to sort of approach everything in a different manner. We have to completely change our mind not change our mind, but have our mind open to change, you know what I mean? And I think it's certainly the best we can hope for as the individual anyways, to sort of craft a model within our own brain that makes sense for the most part, you know. And Jamie was talking about Lord Stephen's model.
And Toby Mushbrains.
No, I mean, listen, the model itself is absolute genius. You know, it's absolutely brilliant, and it goes a long way to it.
Why do you think it's brilliant if you believe it's flat then?
Well, you can have the heliocentric model is brilliant, Jamie, but it's wrong, you know?
Because it's a reverse engineering of reality.
I think it's trying to answer a question that you don't have the information to answer successfully,
right,
like, at the end of the day. Yeah. So I think we should talk about things that matter that are happening now, like say the earthquakes, the hurricanes, the social dynamics of America, what's going on with Russia, China, North Korea.
You can talk about that, man. I'm not interested in talking about that.
Well, that's the things that they're trying to press against us.
Everyone is talking
what we should experience in the world of now.
Talking about these things now, and that's
not really.
Well,
mostly idiots talk about this thing.
Well, it's all over the news, right?
Well, that's what idiots are for, watching the news.
So, what's your take on it all, then, man?
Well, just so you're not interested in who King Jong-un is and what he's about, and whether he's what they say he is, whether he's truly doing these atrocious things to his country. Well, I read all the news all day, so well, give me your opinion of the leader of North Korea.
It's all theater. It's all
what?
It's all theater.
Theater? No. Well, no. This guy's running a country. It's not theater if he's running the entire country, is it?
You don't know, man. You don't know. What do you know about him then? I mean,
well, he's running an entire country. I know that much.
Have you ever been there? Do you know North Korea is an actual country?
But I'm not like that fucking paranoid that I think that this guy isn't the leader of North Korea. What do you think? Do you think North Korea doesn't exist then?
I mean, I asked you what you think.
I think they exist, and I think they're above South Korea, and I think lots of people went to war and got involved with this little piece of country, and there is a wall and fences with Kim Jong-un's propaganda being bellowed out against the southern half of the country, and it does exist.
You're putting across the mainstream view of things, okay? I mean,
well, the mainstream of things over 15 years that I've known this guy's existed and his family. So yeah, okay. It's like saying what? Do you know? Is there a royal family in England? Do they have a palace? Do they have armed guards? Do they have access to anything they want? Well, what is that fake as well? Does that exist? Of course it does. Well, this country clearly exists, doesn't it? Because I've seen several independent people visit the country independently, and videoing themselves being in that country. So to say that it's all a fucking theatre isn't really describing the reality of the situation of what North Korea and its leader is and what it does.
How do you know? How do you know? I don't care for you.
Because I've saw people.
You never come on here before, did you? I think you should.
People fly to North Korea.
I think you should tone down your attitude a small bit, man.
Well, I just think North Korea people fly to North Korea all the time.
Before, and tone down your attitude, right?
Yeah, okay.
You do.
Okay.
You're quoting me mainstream stuff. You say that, well...
I'm saying that North Korea exists and the family of the King Jong-un exists.
Can you not interrupt me, please, man? I'll do you the same favour. You're saying to me it's exactly the same thing as the British royal family. Well, you can go and visit the palaces there, can't you?
I've been there.
You can clarify that for yourself.
Yeah,
everything else based on North Korea is based on what you've been presented in the media, right? Isn't it, in one form or another?
Yes, which is like the gate drug to paranoia of thinking that every entire thing is fake, and then having grand illusions about what you think is real, when you really need to discern what is clearly factual and what is fiction. The fact is, North Korea exists and Kim Jong-un exists. That's all I'm saying. And if you'll get a different point, then I apologise, and I will be quiet and listen.
Right. What I'm trying to say is, it's all theatre. So whatever has been enacted or reenacted, or whatever has been presented to us, will be scripted, right?
Yeah.
Will be scripted, and
to a degree, yes.
Right. That's
my true problem against that is that what control does the UN have over Korea and their civilization? Not a lot at all.
You know the history.
Well,
You know the history of
did you know that
Korea,
they don't have banks belonging to foreign countries, North Korea?
Yeah, I mean that's all they. Again, it's the official story. It's the sort of top layer of conspiracy thinking, and again, it's just been fed to us. It's the Alex Jones sort of stuff. What's the real story behind it all? That's unknowable, isn't it? That's unknowable. And I say it's all theater. That's where we've come. I mean, we know it's all theater.
Well, they gotta be. Otherwise, do you want more and more people to commit suicide because of the reality of this shit, or should they just be theatrical about it? It's like what theatrical, but that's just a point about mainstream observations. But when you come to the elite, yes, they are lying to us, and yes, they are scripting us, and yes, people like Russian vids and stuff are right about the events that go on that are completely false and are a weapon of propaganda. But there has to be some degree of reality to each event or each area of information that we are fed.
How would we know? This is my point.
Well, we'd have to know by adding up the numbers. Like an astronaut fades out, it goes invisible behind as he flies through a door. Did he go through the door, or did he phase out and go invisible and fly through the door invisible, like it was proof that it was CGI? Yes, we saw that he was CGI. Same as we saw that the other shit is CGI, because we fucking proved it, because the shit glitched out and it's not reality. Whereas it takes a lot more information to discern the reality of international ongoings, where it be Kim Jong, whatever. I mean, for all we know, nuclear weapons could be bullshit, but I know I believe that Hiroshima did happen, and that's the atom bomb, and there is shit like that possible, and many, many people did die because of that.
How do you know that?
Because I looked. Well, I don't know for a fact at all. I just looked at the pictures of shadows of people that were being blown away. But if it's that bad, and if they really got that much power over us, then maybe that could have been a lie as well. I just don't believe that they have that much power over us in information-wise.
Really?
I don't believe it's possible. No.
They control all the information.
Yeah, I know they do, but lots of people don't agree with it, and they can create their own consortium.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
Against the belief, or against the information they've taken. So there's always been a diversity of what people
Everyone
believe.
believed the official story regarding nuclear weaponry for ever so long. Right now, when you come to investigate it, you find it's loaded with fakery. So this is where we have to adapt our thinking.
Do you know what rings a bell in my ears? What was that? Where was Fukushima? It was Japan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And and I've watched people go to Japan, and they all eat seafood sushi. I'm like, you're eating raw fish. You supposedly had a nuclear meltdown, and it's gone into your oceans and all this bullshit.
Right? Maybe it was all bullshit.
Exactly. So that's where a point where I could agree with you with it. It's just feeding us absolute lies all the time.
So why would you accept one thing's been absolute bullshit, but yet look back on something like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which has been proven at this stage to be bullshit, and yet claimed as a reality?
It's not been proven to be bullshit at all.
Well, it has, man. Well, it has.
No,
and
it fucking hasn't.
You haven't looked hard enough.
Anyone else in the chat think that Hiroshima has been proven to be false? Please fucking stand up now and give your reason.
Where have you investigated the possibility that it might be?
I haven't investigated it, but there's been no group or anything against the idea that this thing didn't fucking happen.
See, this is nonsense, man. This is why
I'm not being funny here, but there's photos of people.
So you haven't researched it yet. You can be so.
I've looked at I've looked at everything I could that's allowed to be looked at, and I don't go in the deep web, so I don't look.
No.
There was no fucking video cameras when Hiroshima bomb was dropping on them. All right, do you understand that? They could not provide evidence for themselves while their skin was falling off. They couldn't do that.
This is nonsense.
It's not nonsense. Hiroshima was fake?
So certain. Hang on. Do you know what?
Do you think they don't murder people? Do you think they don't bomb people?
You know what you can do? You can go and do research first of all. I can give you a link if you want, man, and then come back and argue the case. Would that be fair enough? I think we've sort of gone beyond that. I mean, I've spoken a lot to Jamie here. This is your first time on here, as far as I know, right? So I think maybe you should do that, kid. There, go and do some evidence. Type into Google Hiroshima fake, Nagasaki fake. Go to a site called Big Lies. Go to cluesforum.com, letsrollforums.com, and see what they have to say and all the evidence they've presented regarding. Actually, brilliant place to go. Fakeology.com.
The only answer is
go there and do that, man. Because otherwise, your point of view.
Well, where's Jamie gone? What? All right, Jamie. I'd like to interview you a bit because I care about you. Joel, Jamie, I subscribed to you when you had fucking 6 viewers, literally, which was what, 5 months ago, was it?
I'll leave you have your conversation, Jamie.
Yeah.
I'll come back and chat another time, man. All right.
Yeah.
You can chat away.
We're not getting along. You're from Northern Ireland, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't like your attitude, man, at all. And I think you're.
I don't like you and your paranoid, schizophrenic views.
You know, you're just for your first appearance here, man.
First appearance, I spent 200 hours speaking about this topic for 2 years.
No, but have you spoken with Jamie before?
No, you just don't know. I've spoken to you before.
No,
I remember you. You can't remember because guess what?
What's that?
Guess what? Well, guess why I remember you, and I've spoken to you for about 2 hours, and you don't remember me. Why is that? Why is that? Because you walk across a zebra crossing and you think you see an alien because you don't know what's fucking what. That's why.
Go fuck yourself, man. Who the fuck are you?
I will fuck myself happily. I spoke to you about 4 months ago. I spoke to you 4 months ago, and I know everything about you, and I know you, and I've watched you for months. You don't know me.
No. So why are you so cocky then, man?
So why are you going against the fact that I believe that Kim Jong-un exists and the fucking...
no, I didn't go against
and that atom bomb that was dropped
come on here
existed.
to talk about...
There's photographs of people's skin falling off.
Shut the fuck up, Jamie. I'm out of here, man. I'll talk to you again. I don't want to talk to this guy.
Don't then. So, Jamie, it's your channel. You're more than welcome to review the way I acted or whether was I out of order or am I stuck in my beliefs. So it's up to you, mate. Well, what do you think?
You're entitled to your own beliefs. I mean,
yeah. So he shouldn't get offended by them, should he? I tried to coerce with him, but he got offended by the fact that I believe that certain facts are real when it comes to the news, because there always is a truth behind the lie. That's what I know that there is.
It can't be all like 100%.
No, we can't all be lies, can it? Because we live in a real world, don't we, James? So real stuff happens. Like, you know, there's fucking real stuff happen. Ted Bundy, serial killers, bombs, atom bombs, the Korean War, the Vietnam War. It all happened. It's real. People used to shoot each other in the face and, and do horrible things to each other. And there's still people left on this earth that are in the same mind thought, which is like people like North Korea. And because I say that Kim Jong-un is real and that there is a real problem, and he says that I'm just talking shit and believing mainstream, is offensive to me, because I know to discern reality from fake. And so does everyone else in the truth movement, other than the people that are warped and demented. That's my opinion. It's like, what should we do, Jane? It's like searching for the greener grass over the hill, except for it's a fucking demon. It's like, what are you looking for? The worst possible fucking what the fuck's applause? Did you say applause in a plural word? Oh, Jesus, plausification, something like that. It's like looking for the worst possible situation every time, like everything's a lie. Like Russian Vids exaggerates a few times. Like I unsubscribed from Russian Vids because he called a few people trannies when they weren't, and it was just absolute bullshit. And there's nothing I dislike worse than disinformation.
Well, I suppose if some of it gets proven to be wrong, then that could discredit the stuff that's genuine. Yeah,
which would show to me that either they're providing disinformation or they're money grabbing for views. And look what's happened, James, since the advertising rules have come in. Look how many people have dropped off. Like the videos with the biggest views are from like a year and a half ago, and half a year ago, and there's only certain channels that even get ad revenue anymore. So it is being slowly shut down in a sense. Do you get what I mean, though, James? Like,
yeah, I get what you mean.
I don't use ad block because I like to see where I get adverts from. Do you have ad block?
I don't. I'm just kind of like. I suppose I could get that, but I'm like.
You'd be better off without it to observe who gets ads and who doesn't.
Yeah, that's true, because then you know who's.
Well, you know who's taking the serious care to provide a video that's not offensive, and the people who are chatting horseshit.
Yeah, because when people put ads on their videos, they can be kind of like the companies could be putting disinformation out there,
which could be luring in
which can be kind of it could be kind of diverting people away from the channel.
It's like like people who read your future or tell you what your spirit guide is telling you and what month you was born in and shit like that. It's the new age shit. People are jumping all over this because they realize how many people are involved in it, and they're just jumping on it and bringing it and just creating their own facade and their own boosting their own ego by being part of it. But that's only a minority of people. I got a lot of respect for a lot of people in this movement, and I thought it would crumble a long time ago, and it is crumbling, Jane. I know it is. The only people left streaming all the time are the people who don't give a shit about making money, about getting the word out there. And I'm not even a flat earther. I'm just like looking at all this, and I refuse to believe I'm just fucking hurtling through anything, basically.
So you still believe it's a global?
No, I don't believe I'm smart enough to discern the factuality of the dimensions of the Earth. So I don't choose to research and learn about the entire consensus of the globe Earth theory, and I don't discern to try and figure out the reality of a flat Earth. So I'm basically like.
Well, because you don't want to like be influenced by any side.
Well, no, because I don't want to put the effort in. I don't really because I never gave a fuck from the beginning. I give a fuck about people. I give a fuck about how they're treated. I'm more concerned about the social construct of things, like the way that people are like forced to be slaves and to like. When I was listening to you the other day, James, someone was like, "Oh, have you got a job?" He's like, "No, I don't really fancy being, told what I'll do," and I totally agree with you. I'm like an anarchist, tribalist in the sense that I would rather live off my own garden than live off corporations. I don't agree.
Was it flat face that you're talking about?
No,
because he was talking about how he didn't want to do like a slave job 9 to 5.
I was listening to you, James, about 5 days ago, and someone asked you if you got a job, and he was like, "Oh, nah."
It was about me. I was like, "No."
You just don't really feel like being fucking, forced into doing something. And I messaged
because I don't like the idea of being told what to do, when to do it.
I messaged in the chat saying, "Yeah, Jamie ain't no slave, because you ain't, James." Because I got friends, online who were like have been oppressed by the certain jobs they've had. Like this one guy worked in a warehouse, and he had to unpack pallets. But he had to have a headset on his head, and he would have to speak to a robot and like tell him what he was undoing and all. And the robot kept like fucking failing and like going out of sync and messing up. And he's like, "What am I doing?" He's like, "Why am I just standing around all day talking to a piece of shit robot in my ear, and it's making me depressed?" And people are having a go at him about it, and he quit. He spent the next day.
These so-called like do-gooders and stuff who go out to work every day, and people look up to them because they're like these are doing all this stuff for a community, but what's it actually? When you look at the big picture,
all it's doing is putting numbers on their bank account. It ain't doing fuck all for anyone.
Yeah, because all it's doing is it's helping big corporations, and it's actually giving the kind of ordinary people stuff that's probably doing them more harm than good, really.
No, I just don't appreciate people being sent around speaking to robots, getting fucking oppressed and feeling like shit when all they're doing is unboxing pallets of bullshit. Elon Musk, if you're so fucking special and you're a billionaire, well, make the robots do the stupid shitty jobs that no one wants to do, because people get depressed when they do these shitty jobs, Jane. Like, do you want to fucking serve double cheeseburgers to people all night at McDonald's? Or do you think there's a intelligence for a robot to do it?
They probably want to wipe out humans so that then they can just have the robots so they don't have to pay the humans.
No, fuck that. What we'll wipe out is slave jobs, make the robots do it, take over the New World Order, turn it into New Freedom.
Well, that would be more ideal, but they don't want that.
Jane, we ain't going to let them win. Are you mad? They're running scared. They want us. Yeah, well, they want the end to come soon. See, the most psychotic and top elite, or the most evil people on this earth now. I know a few of them by name and by face, and I would never say who they are because it would fucking cause me trouble. But they are the kind of people that want us to be evil as well. They want us to fucking fail as a human race. That's why they profit from the evil in this world. Like Jane, if I told you, tell me the different factions of profiting from evil, what could you tell? What profits from evil? What kind of things happen that profits from evil? War, destruction of cities, loaning money is the biggest thing. I mean, for 150 years, there's been nationalist Americans who said the Federal Reserve have been scamming them for 150 years, and it has been happening, and they are fucked. So what's your opinion on America now with Trump and stuff anyway, Jane?
Well, it just seems like a mess, to be honest, with the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, they call it the land of the free and all that, and it's really anything but.
I'd like to be an American, though, to be honest. I'd rather be an American than a British person. Seriously. Or Canadian, and they're irrelevant as fuck. But no, James, imagine you was an American, yeah, and you had like a wooden shack in the forest, and you could have a couple of rifles, you could hunt your own animals, gut them, eat them, there's so many more things you can do in America than you can do in Britain. It's ridiculous. Yet they're all oppressed because they're so subjected to the slavery system they've been placed in. Do they think it's...
Yeah, it's only the people
they think it's
live outside of the cities and stuff
that they've got away from this system, whereas everyone within the system is like 80% of the population. They're all just like, yeah, I'll work in Starbucks, I'll work for, the biggest fucking commerce
going. Like the biggest burger that they can get. And
and they just got this ego, and it's literally, it's the narcissism millennial person. It's the day and age of the late 20s, between 20s and 40s person of this day and age is a narcissist that would stamp on your fucking hand just to get a gold coin. Like, do you know what I mean?
I think some people have questions in chat or something.
I can't read chat at the same time. Ask me.
Someone's asking you, what's your definition of evil?
My definition of evil is, well, I'm gonna have to go into this. This is right. So to be evil is to have the ability to have knowledge of having an effect on your environment. So to have an effect on your environment knowingly is to have an intellectualism brain that can discern the effect of other living beings around you. So I'm a caveman. I'm running around, I'm killing fucking shit, I'm eating shit, and I kill a man to take over the trial. I knowingly or unknowingly committed an act that's prevented to have a series of consequences against another person's life or another animal's life. So now you got, so if you go later to now and you have a link to this emotional brain of what how far the effect of an action goes, which would be the butterfly effect. So say I smash a fucking axe over Jamie's head, he dies, his family are fucking devastated, someone has to pay for his funeral, someone has to fucking do all this shit, someone has to mourn him and miss him for 40 years. So what I've done is I've created a series of events and circumstances that create a consequence that's affected other living beings that have the same capacity as my mind to feel pain and suffering. So to be evil, you have to knowingly enact these actions that would cause suffering and pain and not care about the pain and suffering that you would cause. So, and you'd have to be knowledgeable to know that that pain is happening to these people and still not care about them. So this would be a psychopathic tendency. But
so, in a kind of nutshell, it's basically when somebody knows that they're stepping on somebody's toes, but they'll still do it regardless.
Yeah, that's a psychopathic tendency, basically.
Yeah.
That's like it's basically like I've tried to learn about psychopaths, but it's the most selfish thing you can ever be born with is to be a psychopath, and you can have one person can have psychopathic tendencies when they're under the influence of emotional stress, drug stress, alcohol stress, any one of the things. So, these psychopathic tendencies are in all of us, because it's part of the fight or flight sense. When you feel vulnerable or someone's trying to hurt you, you got one option. You either got the option to attack or you got the option to evade. Whereas these people who are psychopaths choose the option to attack every time. They will not. They have some. Well, in a way, they have a lot more faith in themselves than what we do. We doubt ourselves and we fear, whereas these people are not capable of fear, so they always know. And if anything, they're smarter in the sense that they will always look for the option that eradicates their problem and benefits their ego. So that would be being evil.
Yeah, there's just some people in chat that seems to be complaining, obviously, saying that like that you're like.
Go on, spit it out.
That you're. Yeah.
I meant spit it out and just tell me exactly what they said because I can't see it.
I'll read out what. But chill, Jimmy. Having this
chill. I'm not
type on is not good for your channel, and I never speak bad of anyone, but you know me at least that much.
James, this is a late night chat between me and you. It doesn't even matter that it's live. It's my opinion, and I accept criticism, but the person who said I'm a shill, I'm not intelligent or powerful enough to be a shill. I'm living on the bones of my ass like Jamie. I don't have freedom. I can't do what I want to do. And I'm not in control by anyone at all other than my own mind. And I swear down that on my mother's fucking cancer, on the breast she got left, I swear down that I'm not a shill and I don't work for anyone and nobody controls me. I'm a lone person, 26 years old, that's been observing flat earth and other conspiracies for 2.5 years, that has spoken about it a year and a half ago on a separate channel that was live, just like Jamie's, and had similar viewers. So I don't have any power or any shill ability at all.
I would like to know what, people, like, why they think that, I think just put something that you see more backward talk.
Backward talk?
Whatever that
is. He doesn't like the way I speak, then, basically.
I don't really see that much of a problem, but...
Has he listened to what I've said? Well, Jamie,
Pardon?
Well, Jamie, if you was that offended, you could just kick me off your channel instantly, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Jane, could you hear me?
Yeah.
Me and you have been in a similar boat, like, for a long time, as far as I'm concerned. But you're a better person than me, and I admit that. I'd never be a shill. I can't be a shill because I can't be trusted. Because I was there in the beginning. Like, I used to I went wild, James. I used to tell everyone I met in the street that the earth was flat for about 6 months.
But then they'll be like, well, we just got to accept that you know what I'm saying? Like, that they'll probably say, well, how do we know that's actually true?
Yeah, the only way they'll know it's true is by... Well, I don't have any power. I'm not advertising a channel. I'm not trying to promote a belief or an idea. The only reason I'm here, James, is to speak to you because I've appreciated you for a long time. That's the only reason I'm here, man. Is because I appreciate that you've gone through the effort to figure out to make a live channel and done it for several months. You had no attention for a couple of months until a couple of other people started doing it. And I appreciate all them as well. Like Authentic Intent, people like that who just like gone out there on their own, got it done. I wish if I had a PC, I'd do the same thing, and they would probably know more about it, but I can't do it. I don't have the resources to do it. But you've watching. Well, what, you've done this all on your own? Learned the live stream and stuff. It's not easy, is it?
Well, you just kind of figure the stuff out as you go along, really.
Well, you need a PC for a start, or a laptop. And I don't have a laptop.
Yeah, some people do it for a phone, but apparently it's a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of, because I've seen you in chat before, and I thought, I'd give you the benefit of the doubt and just kind of see what you have to say, really. And,
well, do you know a vet who created free chat now? The vet.
Well, yeah, I've heard that they're like a...
It's a one woman. Her name's Yvette.
Yeah, I mean, but...
Did you ever watch free chat? No.
It was not really kind of... I mean, I don't think it was really going when I kind of was...
No, it must be
before you. Out scene, really.
Oh, I used to speak on free channel all the time.
I mean, I kind of saw it kind of thing, but I never actually went on it. I was kind of... It was before I started to really kind of look at the live streams and stuff. But some are saying it's a troll network or something.
Well, it wasn't. It was a group of quite a few genuine people.
Because I've seen, people from that group who go on troll, chats, basically. As far as I know, they've done that.
Well, I'm just
But
looking to see if anyone, because I'm wishing that some people out there would know my voice and remember me. You get what I mean, Jane?
pardon?
I'm just like, there should be some people out there that remember my voice from like a year and a half ago, but they don't. They clearly must not watch this channel. I spent hours with like Lord Stephen Christ. Do you know Hitchhiker's Guide to
I've
Hitchhiker's
heard
Guide to
of
the
it.
Earth? Well, Jay, I come here to speak to you anyway. I wanted to get to know you a bit more. I just want to know.
So that's what you came on for, really?
Yeah, to speak to you basically. So, what's going on? How do you feel after going through these observations and thinking that you've been lied to? And you're one of the
But it's
outsiders.
just like, it's huge in it. But I kind of went through it and kind of started learning the lies and stuff, and it was just one thing after another, and it was like just mind blow after mind blow, and
Yeah, but how did that
eventually you
make you
start
feel?
to kind of
But
become
Jamie,
a bit kind of.
how did that make you feel emotionally when you first was going through these phases? How did it make you feel about your surroundings, your reality, and the government, the life around you, how you were fooled, or what did it make? Did it phase you? Did it make you feel
Not
upset
really. I mean,
at all?
I've kind of
Never.
knew that the government was like, kind of corrupt before. Really, I mean, it was just kind of. I didn't know the extent that it was kind of just kind of obviously put things into perspective as to what sort of people these are, and
Yeah. So, Jane, what led you into conspiracy theories? Was it YouTube? Was it making a YouTube account and searching into mysteries and stuff like that? Was it mysteries in general? What think back way
I
before.
looked at
Was
things
it
a while ago, and it was just
was
kind of.
it the Illuminati, the dark arts, stuff like that? Was that
Well,
what you
not
come
much
across?
of that really. It was.
Well, what
I
got
was
you into
looking
it?
into. I was looking. I was looking into cloning a while ago, but that
No.
never
What was
really
the
led
first thing
anywhere
that
though.
got? What
That
was your
wasn't the
first?
first thing.
What was your first conspiracy theories that got you enticed?
Someone led me onto chemtrails, but it didn't lead on to anything else. It was just someone led
That's not far back enough. It must have
into.
been something. What was your first? What was your first experience of watching media that was not mainstream? That was about conspiracies or mysteries. When was it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's got to be in it.
What was it like? Loch Ness, haunt ghosts. Because for me, when I first made my YouTube account like 4 years ago, it was all about ghosts, mysteries, crimes of the centuries. Just like I was obsessed with mysteries and the unknown and.
Well, I think I was looking a while ago.
What was it? I
into,
bet it was alien. Was it aliens? Because I spent a fucking year trying to believe in the alien stories. Literally, I spent a year looking into alien shit before I even came across Flat Earth on YouTube. Never even come across a Flat Earth live video until a year and a half of looking through the entire Illuminati conspiracy, alien conspiracy, celebrity conspiracy, clone conspiracy, slave world shit, and Flat Earth was the last thing to come up. Literally in my periodic time scale of observing.
I don't think it was the very last thing for me. It was more kind of like there was a lot of things. I mean, not a lot of things, but there were a few things that kind of led up to that. I was looking into like the Mandela effect and things like that. And yeah, it was a few things I was looking into before FE, but I never kind of really got deep into anything in particular. Just kind of stuff I used to just do, and the kind of when I was on the laptop, I would just kind of research these things and just kind of kind of get a bit intrigued by some of it, and kind of do a bit further research sometimes. But I feel a lot of it is kind of just rabbit holes.
See, James, they're saying in the chat that, see, he was Lord Stephen Christ's friend. Well, no, I was in a hangout with 10 people. See, the maximum amount of people you can have in a Google Hangout is about 10 people. And I've been there when Lord Stephen Christ was in the chat. It's like, say, 15 times over 2 months. He was in our live hangout with us. And I was one of the few people to say that he was full of shit, that he wasn't Jesus, that he's had an emotional breakdown or a mental breakdown. And I was like, Stephen, I was like, you need to stop, you need help. I was one of the few people to tell him how it is, like what it is. So whoever's in the chat saying I'm Stephen's friend, not at all. Stephen didn't used to fucking shut the. Stephen used to shut up when I used to speak.
Yeah.
So I would tell you like it was.
Yeah.
I was like, you ain't Jesus. I said, you ain't fucking Jesus at all. I said, you got arrested. I said, you was on acid, and I said, you've had a mental breakdown. Do you think fucking convex for a start? Well, you might not appreciate that, but I just don't believe that we live in a fucking bubble. I'm sorry. So yeah, I was one of the people that like literally grinded against fucking Lord Jesus Christ's teeth. So don't say I was his friend, all right? Whoever that was in the chat.
Yeah, so you wanted to like come on and find out about it.
Yeah,
really,
what
else was there really that you wanted to kind of because?
Well, would you want me to go? Is that what it is?
I mean, I was literally gonna, before people started
was gonna head off earlier,
I was
wasn't
gonna head off, but I don't know if I'm gonna be heading off soon or what. But I mean, I was just wondering what you were wanting to come on, because you did say you just wanted to come and find out about me.
I'd like to talk about what the progression could be of a flat earther or a person or a truther or someone who's a cynic of the globe earth and a truther and on a similar side to a flat earther, and what that group of people could do beyond.
I suppose
leaving comments on
ideal
YouTube.
thing is to kind of set up a community outside the system and just kind of work together, cooperate, and kind of not rely on the system, because if you still rely on the system, then it means you're still kind of half asleep, I guess.
Oh, I'd like to say thank you to Goldfish and whoever Sock Boy is. Like, you're full of shit, mate. He told me to fuck off, Jane. It's like, what have I said, mate? What have I said that's that offensive to you, person? At the end of the day, Jane, I think you should stick around and you should poke the stick at the options and what's going on in the currency of now, what's happening now. Because there is a lot of stuff happening. And, well, you could dive into any topic, really. You could talk about what Trump represents, what's going on in America, what...
Yeah, I'm willing to go into any topic, really.
So, do you know my favourite topic is the New World Order and how it has been scripted for the last 140 years, and they are going down the exact road that they intended to go down. And this is the penultimate. I've always said for the last year and a half that this is the penultimate time of when and if and how they create their New World Order. So we got transgenderism, we got chips in your fists, paying by electronic currency. I mean, what the fuck is Bitcoin? The guy who invented Bitcoin has gone missing. Like, it just seems like a shitty story in itself, doesn't it? So we got all these aspects coming down on us of this millennial world, which will be controlled by a one world government. And people worried about this for the last 100 years, and now it's coming right at us. So, what do you think it's going to entail for us, James? What do you think is going to happen in your lifetime?
Well, I don't know. I don't that everyone would just kind of wake up soon enough to where like it's just not going to happen. But it doesn't look like it unless something big happens. And even if people do wake up, then they're going to try and co-opt it or whatever, and try and kind of make it suit their agenda somehow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But we got to think beyond that. We got to think about what the true people will do. What will the people who are just more concerned about their own lives and their own families and just the basic fucking human rights of living. And so what the fuck? What happens? Like what happens? I don't know. So say they enforce martial law in Europe and America. Do you think people would start shooting the army? Because I don't think they would, to be honest.
Well, I just hope that enough people can wake up to the rubbish and just kind of...
Jane, what would you like to participate in to get out there in the middle of a city? What would you write on a sign, on a stick that you would carry down a town street with a group of people? Say it was your perfect imagination of a protest against what you think. What would you expect people to hold? What would you expect them to have on their sign? Or what do you expect them to do?
I'm not so sure myself.
Well, what do you hate the most? What are you most pissed off about?
Just like the whole system, and it just how like it's.
You just feel that wrongness in it, that we're way more capable than. See, I've tried to explain this how really
they're just like
the most
in a way where certain people can kind of make it, but some people can't, and it's like it's an unfair, unjust system, and it's
So the people who are most intelligent and create the things that we do should have a responsibility to ensure that our lives had a certain statutory right, basically.
Yeah, there should be like
instead of maximizing profit, we should have a human right to have a home, a supply of food, clean water, and
but I guess at the same time, it's like, when people get kind of, philosophical and all that, they say, well, you can't have that really, because
you fucking can. You just have
someone's always going to try and seek power, and you've always got to have that kind of good and evil. They both have to mutually exist. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, that's in a sense.
Whether you like it or not, that's just the way things are.
No, that's an intellectual way of thinking of how the system could be. Really, if you have the top brainiest people creating ideas for the benefit of the whole people and not for the benefit of the dollar, then you would have a massive difference in the way the society worked and survived. So, say we created a new mode of transport, or we could turn any barren land and make it grow crops. Nobody would starve. And if we like took a chunk of ice from the fucking ice wall and turned it into water, and nobody would die of thirst either. What the fuck? Well, when are we going to stop the top then? When are we going to turn the top upside down? And how the fuck are we going to do that?
Well, if they have that much power, it's like it's basically built in a way where the people at the bottom have, unless they can all get together on a mass scale, the people at the top are just gonna
crush the breaking point. I know exactly what you mean. I said that before. Like a year ago, I said it's going to take enough people to shut down enough things to have a hand in our fucking future, basically. So we carry on spiraling down into this economic slave trade, this scamming us all, and we're all in debt. What the fuck? Every country is in debt to someone. Who the fuck? We ain't in debt to anyone, Jane. We're all living amongst each other. There's no special thing that we owe a debt to at all. The only problem is that certain people think they're obliged to have more than other people, and that's fucking prejudice and racism more than anything you could fucking say to your average person. The fact that they treat us like we're worse than them.
Because the people at the top think
just because they've learned something special, just because they learned something and they hand something out to the earth that has a negative effect anyway. Like they're above us.
No, so they think they have an entitlement to more.
Yeah, like having a fucking cruise ship and going on holiday for 6 months of the year, having 10 mansions. It's just you know what I mean. Why the fuck do they deserve that? Just because they thought of something that the people take.
Yeah, it's just like this whole kind of capitalism. It's only good if like that no one's kind of losing out. But usually in capitalism, someone is losing out because you usually have to step on somebody else's toes to capitalize on something, especially if it's something like a really big thing.
Well, we could exemplify that in the gold rush in America when they were creating railway tracks and creating gold mines. In the early days, when a bunch of men would mine for gold in a mine, when they would bring the truck full of gold back up the track to the exit of the fucking mine, there'd be a gang of barons there that would shoot the person pushing the barrel full of gold, steal the gold, run off, and so that's another realization of evil, or if anything, evil is to take the opportunity that involves the fucking suffering of someone else to feed your own goal, basically. So you and your friends have been mining gold down in a cave in America in fucking 35 centigrade heat for fucking 2 weeks. You come out with a wheelbarrow full of gold, I shoot you in the fucking face and I take your gold, take it with my pals on a horse, and I'm gone. That's evil. Well, that's the essence of the entire structure of how we make money and how we thrive off other people in this day and age. Like, We've learned so much and we know so much, yet we have people starving to death, literally. We're selling bottles of water when people can't even drink water. I just feel that whoever controls the human rights thing is full of fucking shit. I think they're full of shit, to be honest.
There's these, space agencies that are, getting billions, every year, and it's like they could be, the government could be spent in that money on actually kind of helping out people that need it.
What they rather is the CIA and the MI5 make all the money off the illegal drug transfers. Like, how do you think fucking cocaine and ecstasy gets into this shitty little island that we live on called the United Kingdom? On aeroplanes paid for and bought for by the mafia, which is the fucking shadow government, and we're all fucked. They won't legalise drugs because they make so much fucking money from it. Basically, that's why. And I was shocked that they legalised cannabis in America because they were making massive amounts of money, or the cartel was, and it's all a fucking game of Monopoly, and it's just really tiring on the average fucking person, basically.
Yeah.
All right, Jane. Well, I'm gonna head off now. Bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Would you allow me to come on another time, just to talk again, maybe?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? All right, that's cool by me, Jane.
I just
you're just questionable. You're a bit like you just want to.
I'm just trying to be a bit careful because I know some people are kind of a bit suspicious, but I'll just use my own discernment. I think people in chat should really anyone watching should be able to kind of use their own discernment.
No shill would spend their time speaking to Jamie, who got only 25 viewers. I'm not being funny, Jane, but you're in the shadows, you're doing you, and you're not a problem.
So you're saying that it's because you don't have enough sway over the masses? It would be because you would literally need that many people to go and spread disinformation that it would be pointless.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, James, is you got a free ticket to carry on doing what you're doing. So if you put yourself in Dell's shoes, the guy gets trolled and gets his shit shut down because he gets a couple of thousand viewers and he talks business and he says that it's all bullshit and he's not happy. But if you put a smiley face on and say it's all okay and you get 10,000 viewers, then it's all fine. But if you've got 20 viewers and you're just being you're irrelevant. All you're irrelevant to is the real discerning people in the chat that are listening, and it's down to them to trust in what they see to be a fact over fiction or over trolling. And I don't mind if they think I'm a troll, but I have no intent or intention of trolling Jamie whatsoever. Never. So all I'm saying to you is not to worry, because you're not causing a problem. So don't ever think that anyone's gonna come after you, alright, Jamie? Because you've got a small minority of viewers, and you're just trying to express yourself and look into the views of what you've come across, which is completely fine.
Well, I used to get views on the other channel, but since that's kind of I can't do live streams on there right now. I'm kind of. Yeah, and sometimes
you had a bit of attention after you had interviewed someone or some. A couple of famous people came on your chat, didn't they? And then you blew up a bit, didn't you?
Well, I had a few people on I've had the time when because someone called experimental vaccines came on a while ago, and he has 20k subs or something. And a few other people that have quite. But I'm it doesn't matter what sub count you've got as long as you're talking truth, innit? But you're on mute.
I said, whoever said that I'm a shill, I said, would they put their face on camera the first time they've ever been on someone's channel? Look at me. Look at what I live in, a basic room. This is my room. This is where I live in. I'm fucking fuck all. Do I look like a fucking professional shill? I'm trained to fucking shill people? I don't think so. So no, I'm in a similar position to Jamie. I just live on my own and do my own shit. I believe what I want to believe, and I won't let people fear me into believing something else. End of story. And I wanted to speak to Jamie because I've appreciated what he's been doing for the last couple of months. That's all, basically. And I have my own opinions, and they may be. I wasn't on about South Korea. I was on about North Korea for a start. But I've seen people go to visit North Korea and South Korea, and I do believe that American guy who stole a flag genuinely did get arrested for it, but that might have been a shill story as well. We don't know. The guy who died for stealing a flag. Did you hear about that, Jane?
No.
A guy was on holiday in North Korea, and he was in like a big hotel or a posh building of North Korea, and he took one of their flags, their national flags, to his hotel room, and he got arrested for it. They were going to sentence him to like fucking 14 years in jail or something ridiculous like that. But he turned up dead. He died. So that's a bit sketchy. You don't know about that story, no?
No, I don't really pay attention to.
Does anyone in the chat know about that story? Where that white American guy stole a flag, got sentenced to jail, got tortured, and turned up and got put in a coffin it was in a coma and got sent back to America and then died. That's a possible shill story, but you'd have to provide facts that it was fake. But it was certainly just an upsetting story.
Well, I'm probably gonna wrap up soon, I think. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you'd want to like come on and talk about some other time or whatever. But it's always an open platform for.
Oh, James, well, I appreciate it and I thank you. It's been a long time since I've spoken on a live chat. It's been about 11 months. I gave up on Flat Earth for a while. This is, it upsetted me. It really deeply fucking upsetted me. Like, I sincerely believed the Earth that wasn't a spinning. I still don't believe that there's a spinning globe hurtling through space, and it really affected me just my whole mentality changed since I first I came to the conclusion that we're not hurtling through space and we're not a spinning ball. It did affect me a lot, and that's why I've stuck around. It's not there's no other reason for it. I'm not out to get anyone. I'm not against anyone. I don't give a shit about who believes what, which theory they think is true. I don't give a fuck. But at the end of the day, if a boat pulled up and said, "Mike, come to the edge, we're heading there," I'd get on that fucking boat. And that's all I'm here for, is to fucking discover some more truth, and that's it. And I'll give my opinions, and I'll admit if they're wrong, and I'll just stick around, but I'll be watching the whole time.
I'd like to go find out. Let's see if there's something going on beyond the poles or whatever, and let's just because let's just settle this once and for all.
That's what I want.
If like the government and all these big scientists, that they weren't scared, they would kind of open this up and kind of take it more seriously, but they're not doing it, which kind of proves that we're onto something when we're kind of questioning it.
Have you watched all of Matt Powerland's videos, or
I haven't watched all of them, but
have you watched him from
I kind of find that I'm a bit kind of.
Do you know a lot about his content and his situation?
Well, he apparently got involved in a crash or something back in 2010 or something like that.
The fuck?
I mean, and some are calling that fake and all that, but
I want to bet his beliefs and his position that he thinks he's in the flat earth, and the fact that he's been trying to he's been saying he's raising money for a fucking ship to go to the fucking ice wall. Yeah, exactly. See, I liked Matt Powerland a year and a half ago, and something fucking happened to him. Something fucked his brain changed. I'm sure of it, because he started acting differently. He started saying bullshit, paranoid, schizophrenic stuff.
Like because when he was like kind of calling people out.
Yeah, he lost his fucking mind.
How long ago was that? Was that before he started?
No, 7 months ago he started losing it.
When he started doing
he was doing well.
Live streams and things.
No, but yeah, before that he was doing really well. He was selling t-shirts and stuff. He was friends with Flat Earth.
When he started calling.
Well, he was calling
Jake shill and all that. And
no, before he was losing it before before that.
Oh, back when.
Before he started doing his live his live music concerts and renting out shit and doing all that crap.
How long ago? So that would have been like back in February, this year sometime. If you said 7 months ago.
See, that's another person I've watched since 2 years ago. Just over 2 years ago, I think. And I've lost the willpower to listen to his videos anymore, because he's fucking that way off now. And something's affected him massively, and I don't know what the fuck it is. Whether it be the ego of having a big audience and making money.
But his audience isn't actually getting any bigger. In fact, if you look at his sub count, it's actually going down. Yeah, he started selling shirts and doing concerts and shit, and they all went to shit when he started turning on people and talking absolute crap. So, and I was never offended by the so-called exposed footage of him being in a little
what they call it, an extra as an actor in a fucking program. That didn't bother me. It's just he started like chatting absolute shit about other things, about it's like how he knows everything and that he's reserving money for a ship to the edge and all, and just turned sour fast. Don't know if anyone agrees with me in the chat. It just turned sour fast.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what point would that have been when he started to kind of turn weird, because a lot of people have been complaining that he has been kind of turning weird lately and that he's not the same as he were.
Yeah.
Because I think because someone was like playing through his old videos, like kind of going through his back catalogue of videos, and they seemed completely different. Like when he did his like early videos, like what was his old videos called? Like, you know, even back in, you know, This Crazy Notion and all that stuff, it was like it's a totally different guy. And the other videos, like where he was just kind of, you know, doing the painting and stuff, and it was just kind of, yeah, he was doing his rants and stuff, but it was like at least kind of tolerable, I guess.
It was tolerable or tolerable, yeah. But it was also forced, like these concerts where he would like do his art, and I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, he was such a big thing in this beginning of people coming across this subject, and you had so much fucking intelligence, like his stand-up comedy where you point at paintings and say this is bullshit, and he just took a rapid downhill motion, and it just really, I loved the guy. I literally loved him. I loved everything he had to say. He started making his videos longer. He started saying that, you know, the CIA were like controlling his computer, stopping him from doing what he wanted, but you can buy my t-shirts and you can turn up to this concert, and people all just fell for it. I was just like, what the fuck? This ain't real. This, like, ever since he went out to that desert and built a little fire.
It was always planned to go like that.
Yeah. It was like a fucking scene. It was like a scripted scene. But if I said that to Matthew himself, I know he'd have a lot to say if I fucking said that to his face. He doesn't know me, but I'm sure you'll find out whatever was said about him. But I'm just disappointed in where he's gone with what he had. He was a big player. He had a couple of aces in his fucking cards, and he should have done a lot.
I think there's some people that just let their ego get too much, and
he should have done better with what he had. And
it kind of helps to kind of discredit the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah. I bought a vapor pen. James, you smoke? James, you smoke rollies, not or tobacco?
No, I don't do any of that stuff.
I spent £50 on this fucking vapor pen today, just to try and stop smoking. James, you play Xbox?
No, I don't do that stuff anymore.
Did you ever used to be into gaming? That
I used to play it sometimes, but I just kind of gave up on it after a while.
Oh, I wish you'd had an Xbox One so you could play with me on Xbox. What do you do to chill out from this thing you're in? What do you enjoy other than this kind of?
Well, sometimes I just I might just go out for a walk somewhere. Or, I don't know.
Well, I used to do that. I got a beautiful river behind me, and I go and sit by the river and wait for the sunlight to pour down on me, and it makes me feel better. Well, I smoke cannabis and drink alcohol, so my feelings
have you looked into sun gazing?
Yeah. I don't believe in staring at the sun with your bare eyeball, basically.
Well, they're saying that as long as you don't do it when it's like you're supposed to do it when it's like at sunrise or sunset, but like it could be a placebo effect.
I just don't think you should point your face at the sun and smile at it and thank it for the fucking heat you get. But as far as opening your eyeballs and staring at the direct light, that should never be something that should be done ever. As far as I'm concerned, people have been blinded by it. It's a proven fact. Like, people do get blinded by staring at the sun. I know it.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to wrap it up now, so...
Yeah, fair enough, bro.
Yeah.
Well, you got my email address, man, so...
Yeah, so I know where to send a link to,
choose a topic and we'll talk about it. I mean, it doesn't matter what topic it is.
Yeah, no worries, it's my thing in it, so... But,
of course.
I mean, if nobody wants to hear you, then, kind of...
Well, Yeah. Sorry, that made me cough and laugh. Yeah, if nobody wants to hear me, then I'll just just don't invite me to the chat. Do you know what I mean? That's no problem at all.
Well, I'm not saying that. It's not.
One of my favorite.
They need to kind of
things.
provide, reasons.
Yeah, well,
why
yeah,
don't-
they can provide questions, and I'll research them and give them an opinion on what I think about what they're asking me. I'm more than welcome to do that for them, even if it's a negative question. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference between me and a shill. Is you could ask me anything, and you could think anything about me, and you can ask me, and I'll give you a fucking honest answer. Whereas someone who's projecting a bullshit fucking actorship shit on you will block you, tell you to fuck off, and make you feel like a piece of shit before they tell you any kind of truth. That's why I like Jamie. Anyway, Jamie, I think we'll end it on that. But Pete, anyone who's listened to what I've said, I thank you.
Right.
And James, thanks for letting me on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head off. James, I much appreciate it, man. Have a good night. Rest well, and peace, brother.
Yeah, you too. But all right, so yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up soon, and I'll just say bye to everybody. And yeah, everyone can make their own mind up whatever you thought of the guy, but I think everyone can discern things for themselves. I know there might be like newcomers and stuff that if there's any kind of misinformation around, then it might. But because that was my kind of first experience with the guy, so at least he's showing his face on camera. I mean, I've not been showing my face on camera much lately, apart from in my videos and stuff, but people know what I look like, so you can't put that against a guy that hasn't shown his face on camera. But that doesn't kind of really mean anything. But I mean, he did have some good things to add, I think. But you just got to kind of take everything with a pinch of salt unless you actually kind of researched it for yourself. You just got to like okay, maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. I just got to go and research that. But yeah, take it easy, guys, and I'll chat to you again soon. So yeah, peace for now.